Hi, welcome to Living in El Paso, Texas. My name is John Pena with Pena El Paso Realty Group. If you are considering a move to El Paso, Texas, or looking to sell your home for top dollar, please reach out to us as we pride ourselves on being the absolute best residential real estate team in this city. And speaking of this city, there are some fantastic things about El Paso. I wouldn't have this channel if there weren't a lot of great things to say. Otherwise, there would not be a lot of videos to make about the city. Last week, if you follow the channel, you know that we made kind of updated top 5 worst things about El Paso. This week, we're gonna do top 5 best things about El Paso. Let's jump right into it. Number 1, weather. So I was thinking about this today, as people retire, one of the things that they do is they move someplace typically to where a climate that is favorable, right? Nobody wants to be in the northern states in the winter, right? And some people don't want to be in the southern states in the summer, right? Well, El Paso, I think, finds itself in a unique position where it's in a little bit of a Goldilocks zone. And so for us, our hottest month is in June. The top temperature typically is on average 98 degrees with the lows of 69. Our coldest months are December and January with a high of 59, a low of 33. We get about 10 inches of rain a year, and our rainy season is July, August, where we average about 5 days of rain per month. And so what I love about El Paso is that it's not too cold, right? We're not dealing with freezing conditions. We're not dealing with snow, blizzards. I don't own a snow shovel, right? And in the summer, we're not dealing with like crazy like Phoenix, 120 temperatures, right? It gets hot, of course, but within reason. The other thing that's epic about El Paso is that it's a dry climate, whereas in, say, Houston, Florida, these are all places I lived, it gets pretty darn humid, right? And so the great thing about El Paso is, yeah, it might get hot, but it's not going to be humid. You're not going to be dying of sweat. It's going to be relatively comfortable. Number 2, affordability. According to the Wall Street Journal, the overall cost of living for housing, food, childcare, transportation, healthcare, taxes, and other necessities for a single adult in El Paso is about $29,907 a year. On average in Texas, that number is about $34,448 a year, and the national average is $38,433 a year. As you can see, El Paso remains one of the remaining, affordable cities in our country. And so affordability is certainly something that's important to a lot of folks. And so now I will say that you should go back and watch that video about the cons, because the minimum wage is not ideal. So that throws a little bit of a monkey wrench into that equation. But for skilled workers, healthcare, education, entrepreneurs, business, what have you, El Paso is a pretty affordable city to find yourself in. Number 3, the community, the people. Now, this may sound a little bit feel-good cheesy, but it is completely true that the people in El Paso are friendly. They're actually nice. El Paso has a very good reputation about just being a friendly city, right? So I'm not going to speculate too much on why that might be. Of course, I guess I am. So in 2022, the census, there were about 675,000 people, 869,000 in the county. 80% of those people, according to the census, identified as Hispanic or Latino. So there is a huge Hispanic culture here, which we're going to talk a little bit about at the end. But what that seems to, and I don't want to make generalizations here, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but honestly, my experience is that Hispanic culture is a little more laid back, and that people are actually very caring, outgoing, friendly, nice. Another reason why I think the community is awesome here is because we have a huge military presence. There's 42,000 veterans alone that live in El Paso, and with Fort Bliss, I don't know exactly what the number is, but there are a ton of active military people in our community. Not just the active military person themselves, but they're bringing their family, right, with them. So again, I guess I will make a generalization. People in the military tend to be honest, hardworking, friendly, responsible, competent people, right? And so that really does show in El Paso. So between a really large Hispanic population, a ton of military folks here, mean, El Paso is a friendly place. If you don't live here and you come and visit, I guarantee you spend a couple of days, and what people tell me all the time is they're like, yeah, I heard you say it, but until I came and saw it with my own eyes, I didn't believe it. Trust me, the community here, the people here, awesome. Number 4, safety. I sigh only because of the media's portrayal of El Paso being a border town and this misperception that they tend to create. In 2022, El Paso was ranked as the 4th safest large city in the United States because of its low rates of violence and property crime, and this one was interesting too, and its low risk of severe weather. If you think about it, you know, when a hurricane comes through and trashes a place, or maybe a tornado or something like that, there, in some cities at least, you get what? Looting, people kind of like going nuts sometimes, right? We don't have any of that here, right? We don't have a border that's overrun by migrants. We've made plenty of videos about this. El Paso is a very, very safe place. I suspect a lot of that has to do with the temperament of the people who live here. Okay, number 5 is lifestyle and culture. In a nutshell, El Paso has a lot going for it. We just named 4 pretty awesome things, I think. Another thing we have going for us is that we're resource rich. We're sitting right on the Permian Basin where there's a lot of oil resources, and we're right in this zone where we're gonna do great when it comes to wind, solar. We've got plenty of water for the next 50 years at least. The military wouldn't be investing here if that wasn't the case. Amazon wouldn't be investing here. And so El Paso has a lot going for it, which means that we're kind of a growing up and coming city, right? So what that brings is a lot of new stuff for the people, right? More money into a city means that there's more resources, people have more spending money, and so they need things to do. And so the lifestyle cultural aspect of El Paso is really climbing. So I'm talking about things like restaurants, things to do. We've got some fantastic things happening downtown. There's a bit of a downtown revitalization going on. We are a border town with Juarez, and there's tons of epic things to do in Juarez as far as music festivals, restaurants there, right? Going shopping at the different merchant areas and things like that. There are a ton of things to do here if you're into health and fitness, and outdoor lifestyle. There's hiking, there's mountain biking, there's trail running. If that's not your jam, we've got so many gyms. We've got some really epic gyms. Connective comes to mind. We've got Sessions, that climbing gym that just rolled into town. There's a paddle club coming that looks super fancy and nice. So we have all of those things for people. If you're younger, which I'm gonna talk about here, we've got a lot of skate parks. We've got, if you're families, we've got tons of water parks, tons of just regular parks. And one thing that I think is great about the lifestyle and culture here is that El Paso is a young city. I believe the average median age is about 34 years old, and actually 40% of the population is under the age of 25. So there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of youth in the city. So when we have music festivals or different events come through town, they're populated, right? There's tons of people at them. When we have things downtown, we've done videos on them, like there's a ton of people there, even for like to go to a Chihuahuas game or anything like that. So if you're looking for a city that is up and coming, where there's a lot of excitement, I think El Paso should rank right there at the top of the list. That, I think, is a pretty solid top 5 things about El Paso. I love the city, we love it, so we could of course come up with more, but I would be really curious to see if you agree with these top 5, or if you would add or subtract anything from them. Please leave a comment below. Please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel if this is the kind of content that you're interested in, and we'll see you in the next episode.